Let's try that again. Hello, good evening. Welcome to this edition of the Halcyon Show live stream. My name is Lorne Wisely, host of the show. How you doing? And look, I actually filled it in. Yeah, there you go. Now the branding's on point and it glows, so it looks like neon, like it's supposed to go there. I have no idea if the lettering behind it, the calligraphy behind it, actually is Japanese for Halcyon. I just typed it into Google. I really hope I haven't put something super duper inappropriate behind the name of my show, but you never know, and I can always edit it out. So there you go. Anyways, how you doing? Thank you very much for joining me when you tune into this. Nothing really much on the agenda this week, I must be honest with you. We're still in the process of trying to source interviews. Also, I have a work project that looks like it's going to take up a fair amount of my time. So while I'm busy faffing around with that, I doubt very much there's going to be anything on the table as far as content this week, other than I just felt like hopping on number one to say hi. How you doing? Lovely to see you. Hope you're well. Hope everyone's doing okay from last week and the, havoc that I wrought. I hope you've all recovered and we can all move past it now. Anywho, something came up in my feed today. And it's one of those things where when you go, oh man, yeah, I remember that. And then you see how many views it got. You go, that is criminal. So, first and foremost, I got to talk about it because I never talked about it back in the day except for, I think, one old show concept of mine called Halcyon Blink. My idea was to make digestible sized videos compared to my main videos. My main videos would go 20 minutes, half an hour. Then I had this idea for Razor reviews, which is like, okay, Razor, cut it in half. And it was still 15 minutes long, so no one watched those either. So I thought, okay, fuck it, super quick, real quick videos. 10 minutes, which by today's standards is a fucking encyclopedia worth. So my quick version of a video used to entail things that I used to see and just kind of react to. I wouldn't make extensive notes on anything, like no dates, no names, titles, or anything like that. Which is a shame, really, because I think those videos could have been a lot better if I'd actually put a decent amount of effort into them. But the thing that I came across today was, in my mind, the funniest thing WWE ever produced. And partly because it's unironic in its attempts to be funny, and you can see that in the disparity between the first set and the second set. Southpaw Regional Wrestling. Now, Southpaw Regional Wrestling, according to this, came out over 6 years ago. It feels longer than that, especially when you consider the cast. Now, there's probably some backstory to this in case you don't know what Southpaw Regional Wrestling is. Southpaw Regional Wrestling was apparently a birthday present from WWE to Vince McMahon. Okay, but nevertheless, it's an assortment of, at the time, present roster talent, and then sort of a very hodgepodge, small assortment of production crew cobbled together to make a 1970s/early 80s renegade wrestling promotion, and sort of an episodic series of 4 videos that led up to a pay-per-view called Lethal Leap Year. And in these videos, you see some of, if not the best, comedic acting WWE has ever produced, and easily what I would argue is the funniest overall production that WWE has produced. Now, I get a lot of people have their funny moments. They have their funny in-ring promos, their funny in-ring matches, maybe backstage segments, or even the occasional, like WWE used to produce like adverts, like everyone remembers the famous Super Bowl advert where it's all ironic, where, oh, we don't like violence, guy gets set on fire. We don't do sex, and there's a girl literally moaning on like a tail, like, oh yeah, and it's like, okay, we get it, okay. So even that was sort of too heavy-handed for me to go, okay, this is actually stupid funny. It's just kind of, hey, oh yeah, okay, I get it. Southpaw, because it didn't have WWE's oversight, had no constraints in terms of what it wanted to do, and therefore was free to be actually funny because of the talented people that comprise its roster. I mean, at glance, you've got John Cena as Lance Catamaran, and you've seen what John Cena has become since. But 6 years ago, he wasn't on the path to becoming a Hollywood mainstay or an actor. He was just still very much entrenched in WWE on the backside of his run, to be sure. But nevertheless, like, stupid talented in this because he plays like a Gordon Soley, almost early Vince McMahon-esque commentator character amalgamated into one. He's like big and broad in this preposterously big cotton checked suit. It speaks properly and with ambiguity and with energy and all this other stuff, and it's great. He's flanked by he was named at the time as Fandango. Now, he plays a character called Chit Chetterfield, who is like perpetually depressed, chimes in with the occasionally problematic statement, but again, it's meant to be because it's the 70s and 80s where everything was a bit problematic in retrospect. He compliments him so much because he doesn't interject, he doesn't overlap Cena's performance. And then you've got all of the wrestlers, and I don't want to highlight them individually. There's a couple of things I want to say about this though, because one of the reasons I think it's so funny is because each of the wrestlers clearly isn't playing up to an ego or a gimmick that is natural to them. They are all putting slants on gimmicks or ideas that they remember from the 70s and 80s that clearly they were very fond of but feel comfortable lampooning. The one I'm thinking off the top of my head is Tyler Breeze as Mr. McElroy, the banker, and he's just literally mustache twirling because he's got a fake mustache in one of his promos, and he's literally you better run quickly. Yes, the farm is for sale. And then the mustache is falling off and he's having to pause to set it back on. And I will put money now that wasn't meant to happen. I bet that they put the mustache on and say, right, that's cool. And as he's doing it, they just let it go because they're like, dude, this is fucking hysterical, watching him just try and keep up with it. That's just one example. Rusev, or now Miro, because again, this is so, dude, there's so many people who are not on the roster anymore that are in this. It's crazy when you think about it. For like, I don't have time to go through them all now, but like literally, I think with the exception of, I don't know if Cena counts anymore, but we'll count Cena. I can't think of anyone in the original Southpaw Regional Wrestling cast who is still with WWE. Jericho's with AEW. Lana's not with WWE anymore. Rusev isn't with WWE. Tyler Breeze. Fandango. Who else? Heath Slater. He's not with them anymore. The Ascension. Luke. Carl. Is it Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows? There you go. I got the names right. All of these guys aren't with WWE anymore, and that's really, really depressing when you think about it, because it was only 6 years ago, and almost all of them are still competing. One thing as well on a rewatch of this stuff is one of the characters. So that Southpaw was non-stop. Like from the first minute of every one of the 4 episodes, it's just joke. They respected the audience to keep pace with how much they jam-packed into everything, right? There's so many subtle nods and little cues and little humorous moments and all this other stuff. It's properly wonderful when you watch it back and you catch just the tiniest little glimpse here and the tiniest little smudge here. But the one thing that gets me about all of them is every time one of them nearly breaks. Now, I don't know about you guys. When I watch professional wrestling, one of the things that really does bring a tinge of joy to my evil little heart is when you see someone break during a promo. When you see just that little innocent smile kind of creep, and then suddenly it's a grin, and suddenly it's, oh no, I'm smiling and I'm not meant to be. There's one promo in particular with Chris Jericho and Rusev, Clint Bobsky and Big Bartholomew. And there's a moment where Rusev breaks. So he's just chewing on this piece of fucking hay or whatever it is, and he's desperately trying to keep his shit together. He gets it together and then starts becoming impassioned with the promo, which breaks Jericho, who's just desperately sucking in his cheeks just to try and keep his composure. And that's when you know that not only are they having that it's funny, but that they're having fun. And that's such a... This might be a scathing indictment on WWE in the past. Maybe it's still true. I don't know. I don't work there, and I don't really watch the product enough to kind of understand the ins and outs anymore. But when you see people having fun, it's nice. And for the longest time, you just got the impression people working in WWE weren't having much fun. And how sad is that? You get your dream job. Like every wrestler, pretty much, grew up wanting to be a wrestler. Like, what person wants to hurl themselves at the ground for a living unless you really fucking love it because of the other stuff that it affords you the ability to do? So the idea that they wrestle, full time with no benefits and for not great money sometimes, for a guy that ultimately turned out to be a bastard, even though we all fucking knew he was a bastard, it's sad. But then when you see this, you see, right, okay, this is what wrestling could be when you just trust talented people to be talented. And Southpaw is it's just so jam-packed full of great examples. Like I said, John Cena, now in retrospect, it was obvious that he had chops, but his sort of exacerbation over the course of the 4 episodes is fantastic, because he blows up in the 4th episode and just goes mental and all the rest of it and brings it back and then cuts a moment of treachery, a moment of deceit, a moment of triumph. All are available at Lethal Leap Year. He's that character so close. Same with Chet Chetterfield and Fandango, this idea that he just chimes in occasionally with, Susan and I we used to take pictures together. She left me for the gardener. Yeah. He's just so good. He sells it so well. And then you've got, let me think, the one that threw me for the longest time. So there's the main skits, okay? So you've got the commentators, and then you've got the main skits, which are like 20 to 30 seconds of pre-planned material where they're cutting promos to camera. And then there are these pre-packaged moments where they're highlighting wrestlers to come, like coming soon to Southpaw Regional Wrestling. And the one that got me forever, because I just couldn't figure out who it was a character in the series called La Barba Grande. La Barba Grande, debuting soon on Southpaw Regional Wrestling. Mysterioso. Like, who is this guy? It didn't make any sense, because he had long hair, and he seemed quite tall, but not stupid muscly, but not stupid fat. Like, hairy, yes, but not fucking Albert hairy. And it's like, who is this guy? And it made me kind of sad. John Huber, Brody Lee, and man, like, someone as talented as him made a Mexican wrestler in a mask sitting on some stairs, running away up the stairs, más rápido, very heady, arriba. Like, even in that, he's entertaining. Like, how do you do that? And then you've got McElroy, who's, again, hamming it up as this evil sort of banker type, and he's goading Big Bartholomew, this farmhand, again, a classic American trope, I guess, from the 70s, and he brings out, you thought we were going to have a chain match? No, it's not me you're going to be facing, it's going to be my creature from the sea! And he's got Cesaro, or Claudio, sorry. He's got him in a fucking green leotard with a dinosaur mask, like a cartoon dinosaur mask, with some fucking seaweed they found off the side of the beach. And he's just cackling and laughing. It's like, my creature from the sea, I call him the sea creature. It's so stupid. It's so good. And like I say, it's a joy. And I wanted to highlight this because when you look at how many views they've got, so the first episode has 1.4 million, the second 891,000, the third 751,000, the final one 720,000. That is a goddamn crime. You all need to go out and watch the first 4 episodes of Southpaw Regional Wrestling immediately, if only because this also helps highlight the problems within WWE sometimes, which is that those 4 episodes where they were just left alone to do what they thought was good and funny and decent and actually successful are fucking brilliant. Absolutely magnificent. It builds to a magnificent payoff that I'm not going to spoil for you now. Go watch it. It's brilliant. But then they made a second set, which at first you think, oh, great. Yay. More of them. So they made fucking... Number 1, they made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they nearly doubled the amount of fucking episodes. And these ones, Jesus Christ. if you can't hear Vince McMahon yelling at these people through the performances, I don't know what to tell you, because every single one of them is given the instruction, this is funny, make sure the audience gets it. Because they just linger on shit. It's this thing of, oh, look, she's got... This, again, you can tell Vince McMahon's involved in this in retrospect. One of the bits is that Natalya, one of the most preeminent female wrestlers of her generation, probably the first legitimate, hard-working female wrestler, considering that she was trained to the fucking dungeon with Stu Hart and everybody else. So every bit of pedigree that any male member of the Hart family ever had. And yet her gimmick is she's got big tits. And Clint Bobsky just stares at her tits for 30 seconds, 45. That's the joke. Fucking hell, Vince, let's be honest. But fuck it, WWE, let's put them all in the same basket. But that's the disparity. Like, it's so sad, because I think, if I have to be honest, those more recent... Because, again, I understand that most people watch things more recently. They don't really go back to the beginning of things to see how things progress and the genesis of things. And that's sad for me, because oftentimes that it develops an appreciation for what then comes, or a lamentation of what comes, especially in American television series. I don't know if you've noticed this, but the first 2 or 3 series of an American television show, fantastic. They usually improve after season 1. Season 2, they hit the stride. Season 3, they really nail everything. And then they decide to keep going. And you go, fuck. In this case, it was 1 season. 1 season they didn't cock up. And it was 4 episodes, and each one of them were perfect. Absolutely perfect. Season 2, absolutely terrible. But if you are going to watch any wrestling content today, okay, they're only 5 minutes long, and there's only 4 of them. 20 minutes of some of the finest wrestling comedy you will ever see. I promise you, you won't regret it. It is fucking brilliant. It's a bit out there, I'm not going to lie. It might take you a minute to get it. But my God, once you get it, and it's just these guys saying stupid shit and doing stupid shit, knowing full well how it reflects on the history of the wrestling business and what it informs about the wrestlers now, and that they're all just having a ball doing it, you'll love it, I promise you. So that's Southpaw. Now that I've plugged it, because I can't be the only person that remembers Southpaw. I won't let it happen. It's fucking brilliant. Again, I'm looking at Carl Anderson right now. Sorry, I'm looking at Luke Gallows right now. There's a bit in the middle of the 3rd episode where he's injured. He's been injured several times, and there's a reference to... He sent Greg Valentine round to my trailer. Sorry, I know you sent Greg Valentine round to my trailer to put me in an armbar for 2.5 hours. It's just something about the fact that he's off camera. He just sat there in an armbar for 2.5... Like, at the 2-hour mark, he's like, nah, you're good for another half an hour. He's just like holding it because it's dead. So stupid. With 2 eye patches on as well. I won't spoil the rest for you, but honestly, it is the best. It is so funny. And if you don't watch it, there's something really wrong with your wrestling fandom, because it is genuinely the funniest thing WWE have ever... Unironic thing WWE have ever produced. First 4 episodes. Go watch it. Which leads me into SovPro. So, SovPro, it's hot... sorry. It's Dark and Hell is Hot. They dropped the pay-per-view to watch on YouTube. A couple of days ago, I think. So what I wanted to do is, at the time at least, I wanted to just watch along, because, you know, what's wrong with watching a wrestling event when it's dropping live on YouTube? That sounds like fun. Unfortunately, I had a million other things to do, so I decided instead just to plug the thing. I said, listen, I was going to do it, but do me a favor, go watch it live, okay? Now, I haven't seen the show, haven't seen anything about it, but I'd really love to do a live watch along. Now, because of the unique way that YouTube is structured these days, I won't be exhibiting any of the footage, okay? I also won't be, probably won't be playing any of the sound. So it'll be a case of me sort of watching along as it, you know, with you. If you want to join me, we'll press play together. We'll watch it along together, assuming that you don't get the same ad breaks that I do. It'd be a fascinating experiment, actually, to see if we get the same ad breaks. Wouldn't that be something? But yeah, just to kind of review the show, I guess. I've never reviewed an entire SovPro show. I've seen a number of their matches. I had one of their wrestlers interrupt a live stream of mine at one point. Ian Skinner, you rambunctious bastard. So I think it'd be funny to just kind of go through the entire show, because I want to support local wrestlers, and it would be nice to showcase wrestlers a little bit more on my channel, because I'm a massive wrestling fan. And SovPro seems to be doing some really cool stuff. And having met one of their wrestlers now, dickhead though he may be, it'd be nice to showcase more of them. So that will be, I don't know when I'll plan that. Like I said, I've got this project for work that I need to get finished first. So I'll get that done. Once that's done, that's when I'll pencil it in, because that's when I'll know I'll have to. I think the full show. Hang on. Let's check. We're not doing anything. How are you? Are you doing okay? SovPro. There. It's 3 hours and 13 minutes. So we'll preview that once my work duties are done. How's that? So we'll do that. And if you'd like to join me, by all means, tune in. I'll because the thing is, I don't want to copyright infringe. Even if I'm reviewing something, or even live streaming it with, just the sound, I guess. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I can get away with just the sound? I don't know. Might be something I have to look into, because if I can get away with just the sound, that might work. I think it's just because this is where you'll have to level with me if you watch live streams. I don't watch a lot of live streams, I must be honest with you. I don't find them all that engrossing. This might be killing the gimmick here, probably is, but that's fine. I don't judge you if you like. But look, I don't judge people for watching shorts anymore. If you want to watch shorts, you go right ahead. I don't mind. But nevertheless, I don't know what works and what doesn't work with live streams, especially over a 2 or 3 hour period. I've done 2 hour live streams now, but I was talking the entire 2 hours. And with SovPro, or reviewing a SovPro live show, I wouldn't want to talk for the full 2 hours. I don't think I could, number one. Also, I don't know how good my insight would be in terms of wrestling maneuvers and things of that nature. But I know I do want to showcase it. It would be nice to give them a little bit of love. So any suggestions as to how it should look? Send them my way. As far as wrestling, the third topic. Wrestling is a passion of mine. I don't know how much of a turn-off it is for the people that have tuned in to me on a regular basis, especially if you've tuned in for the interviews. So apologies if it's an annoyance. I know wrestling sometimes rubs people up the wrong way in terms of they have negative associations with either the fans or wrestling itself. Like, it's the fake argument or whatever it is. And that's fine. I don't mind that. I guess what I would say, though, is I'm still trying to figure out how to distinguish the content on my channel, seeing as I'm still now not really sure what it is people want to see. I just want to try and keep making the stuff that I think is fun. Hence why I'm only doing the one live stream this week, and we're coming up to the 30-minute mark, so that's about the amount of time I want to stream for, so that'll ding-dang-do there. But, yeah, I just want to say that it won't always be wrestling-centric. It'd just be nice to showcase wrestling while I'm kind of in a wrestling mood at the moment. So, yeah, Southpaw Regional Wrestling, I promise you. I mean, if you're not a wrestling fan, I'm not going to recommend it to you, because you could get the same kick out of Anchorman, for instance. Only Anchorman's a movie, obviously. But if you're a wrestling fan and you're looking for something to tickle your funny bone a little bit, rather than something that's action-packed and pulse-pounding and heart-stopping and all the rest of that sort of shit, Southpaw Regional Wrestling is the way to go. And if not, maybe even do me a favor. Go check out the SovPro. It's dark and hell it's hot. And hell is hot. Pay-per-view. Leave me your impressions. Leave me some of the highlights that you found, and maybe some of the stuff that I should be keeping an eye out for, because I'd love to preview it. So I think with that'll do. I think a good solid half an hour is good for me. I think that'll do. Plus, I don't know if you've noticed, like I said, I've got the shiny new graphic underneath. I also have music playing in the background. Lord, if I knows if you can hear it or not, or if it's too loud, I don't know. You'll have to let me know in the comments section. I don't know. I'm still working on this. But nevertheless, I decided to update the live stream backgrounds because, again, it helps it make it look a little different from the normal interview, so you know what you're getting. And yeah, I think that'll about do it. So thank you very much for joining me on this edition of the Halcyon live stream. Please like, share, and subscribe. Interviews, I will let you know as soon as I can. I will try and use the community tab going forward to showcase interviews with thumbnails of people that agree to be on the show. Now, of course, that is going to come with the classic wrestling phrase, card subject to change. As you will have noticed with recent events, some of the interviews that I penciled in aren't going to be happening now for obvious reasons. Now, partly that's me, because I cancelled them because I said, fuck it, I don't want to talk to some people. Some of them said, no, fuck you, I don't want to talk to you. So, apologies to you, the viewer, about that. Again, you suffer because now you don't get the interview, and I'm sorry. However, we're not done. We're still looking. We're still trying to line up some people. It's just a case of trying to get... Basically, I haven't been able to contact many people since. So it's one of those things now where a lot of the people that I've been asked to contact are the people that I want to contact. It's going to take some legwork to get a hold of them first of all, to then confirm things and all the rest of it. But we will be back with more interviews at some stage in the future. So I just thought, one live stream this week, that'll do you. I doubt very much I'll have an interview of any kind up this week. But I just wanted to touch base and see how you were doing. There's nothing going on in the chat today, so apologies. I'm going to wrap it here. I hope if you tuned in and you were watching, you enjoyed me rambling for half an hour. I hope you're keeping as well as you can be. It's Monday, so it can only go up from here. Certainly going better for you than some people I bumped into on the way home today. Straight up fight between an old lady and a delivery rider. That was fun. Kicking ass, the old lady was, but it was one of those really horrible situations you hope to not come across, and then have to break up and then have to explain to people in uniform what happened. But you know, it happened. So yeah, this week can only get better. Anyways, like, share, and subscribe. Yeah, take care of yourselves. Thank you very much for joining me on this edition of the Halcyon Show live stream, and I guess I'll see you on the next episode.